What's going on, everyone? Welcome back to another edition of Pistons Daily, where you can find daily content covering all things Detroit Pistons every single day. I'm your host. My name is Kyle Garrison. I'm over on Twitter at Kyle Garrison2, where I talk all things Detroit sports. So come on over, say hello, give me comments, questions, concerns, episode ideas. I'd love to hear from all you guys. Also, head over to the Spotify, give a review, a follow. I would really appreciate it. We're trying to grow across all platforms, so if you can head over to Spotify, that would be greatly appreciated. But with that being said, let's hop into today's video. So obviously the Pistons last night took down the Knicks in game one of Summer League 104-86. And the first thing I want to talk about is just Ron Holland. I think that everybody is very aware that he was the best player on the floor last night. It might have been it might be the best player in Summer League right now. He was just absolutely dominant last night. You could see the things we talked about, he worked on. That he was initiating the offense. There was times where he was driving downhill, kicking to an open guy, finding an open guy, or finishing at the rim. The three-point shot was just unbelievable overall. He showed so much confidence. There was no hesitation in the jumper. The one play where I think he goes behind the back, steps back, goes behind the back again, kind of hits a hesitation, pulls up from three, knocks it down. Back-to-back possessions had just hit threes. Like, the confidence is there. He's working on it. He's showing the willingness to go all in the offseason and work on it and become a guy that can play on the floor at the same time as Asar Thompson. The defense was unbelievable. Just every part of his game is exactly what we wanted to see. And again, it's Summer League, so we have to take it with a grain of salt. We have to not, get too overexcited. But at the end of the day, it's NBA level competition, and he showed the ability that he can be a rotational piece, no doubt, on this team, and potentially even start later on in his career. If he can continue to knock down three-point shots and will increase his efficiency this year and continue to work on it every single year from here on out, then he is going to be such a valuable piece of this team. And it's just fun to watch the development and the growth. We've been hearing about it all offseason, but actually watch it unfold on the court. It's so much fun. And I mean, I'll continue to harp on it. I'm so excited about Ron Holland. I'm so excited about his ability. That putback dunk he had as well. He's just so unbelievably athletic, has such a nose for the ball. It's unbelievable. Just everything that he's predicated on as a basketball player, utilizing his athleticism defensively, on offense as well, and then also adding the jump shot. It's going to be a very, very scary once he starts to really figure it out. He just turned 20 a couple of days ago. Like, he is freshly off being a teenager and showing off the way he did last night. There's such an upside for him, and I can't wait to watch him continue to tap into that. But let me know in the comments or over on Twitter what you liked most out of the Ron Holland performance last night. And just moving forward, what are you excited to see from him going into the regular season and throughout the rest of his career? Because, man, he looked like a guy that could be a very, very, very important piece of this team going forward. But moving on, I don't think that Ron Holland will probably play another game. So the rest of the cast is kind of what we're going to be looking at going forward throughout Summer League. And somebody I wanted to touch on is Chaz Lanier. We've talked about him a ton on the channel. Really excited about what he brings to the table. And I think last night, it was a slow start offensively. And I think that's expected with his first real live NBA competition. But what we saw from him is exactly what we expected. A quick release, a great off-ball movement, a shooter, can catch and shoot. There's times where he was hitting the no-dip shot where he was just catching and letting it go from right above his head, which is actually unbelievably impressive for somebody who, we talked about it, at North Florida, didn't really have a huge role, came into Tennessee, started to dominate. He's really just starting to come into his own as a basketball player, and he's showing all the intangibles that you want to see out of a second round pick. Who's a guy that's on the older side who could potentially be a plug and play piece if you have injuries down the line. But I think that as Summer League goes on, he'll get more comfortable. I think, what did he end with? 10 points. On 4 of 11 shooting, 2 of 7 from 3, 4 assists, 2 rebounds, just 1 turnover, a steal, and a block. So it's exactly what you wanted to see out of him. Obviously, you wanted to see more high-volume shooting, which we'll get a chance to look at. With Ron Holland probably not playing, he's going to get a ton more looks and get more opportunity for the offense to kind of come to him. But there was some times defensively where I liked what I saw as well. He was jumping passing lanes. He was playing well off ball defensively. And he's talked about it before. Trajan Langdon's talked about it as well. If he wants to have a spot in this league, he's going to have to be a consistent defender. And we saw that off ball, on ball. He looked great last night. The movement shooting was kind of the biggest thing that we were looking at, and it looked great as well. He didn't knock down as many as I would have liked, 2 of 7 from 3, which isn't bad by any means. And at the end of the day, that is just going to continue to improve, and especially throughout Summer League as he gets more confident, gets more comfortable. I'm excited to kind of see him potentially have a couple games where he's putting up 10 3-pointers throughout the rest of the week. I mean, I think the Pistons have at least 5 more games left in Summer League, maybe 4 games left, but still just going to be more opportunity for him to kind of show off his skill set and be a consistent spot-up shooter for this team, which Pistons desperately need. So excited what I saw from him. I don't know if what he did is going to be translatable to this rotation going forward, especially this year. But I do like what I saw, and like I said, if there's injuries, if there's unforeseen circumstances, he could be a guy that steps in and fills some of that Malik Beasley, Tim Hardaway Jr. role that we're missing. But moving on, the last player that I did want to touch on is Bobby Clintman. I think that Bobby, another guy, he had 10 points, so he wasn't stuffing the stat sheet, but only took 7 shots, 3 of 7 from the field, one of 3 from 3-point, but 2 steals, 1 block, 8 rebounds, and the thing that I'm most impressed with was the 5 assists. We talked about it a couple of days ago on the channel. We wanted to see him utilize or continue to be a very good, have a very high basketball IQ, be able to identify mismatches, see the floor well, and just move the ball consistently. And one thing that I really wanted to see was him operate the pick and roll as the ball handler. And when he did, him and Tolu Smith looked unbelievable. I don't know if you guys watched Michigan last year, but Vladislav Golden and Danny Wolf had a pick and roll with 2 7-footers, which was kind of an anomaly. But last night we saw Tolu Smith and Bobby Clintman both run that pick and roll to perfection. And Bobby Clintman was unbelievable. He was dishing. He was getting to the rim. He didn't finish as consistently as I wanted to, but that'll come with time, especially throughout the rest of the Summer League as he becomes more of a consistent piece and somebody that they draw plays up for, with Ron Holland probably being shut down for the rest of the Summer League. So we'll see that efficiency and we'll see the offensive part of his game as a scorer kind of start to come with time and with reps and throughout the rest of this Summer League. But the fact that he showed the ability to pass the ball, he wasn't turning it over. He did have 2 turnovers, but he was consistent enough. There was a drive where he threw a behind the back pass to Tolu Smith underneath, and I love that versatility. Just overall, we talked about it. He is going to struggle with his efficiency here and there as he continues to kind of fill out and become more comfortable with his offensive game. But the fact that he's showing promise as a passer, as a facilitator, as a 6'10 forward is just very, very encouraging going forward. He looked really smooth. His jumper looked smooth. He hit 1 3, and the 3 he did hit was a catch and shoot from the corner where he didn't take a dip. It was just completely right there. He caught it and he let it release, which as a 6'10 forward, like I mentioned, being able to shoot over taller defenders, having that 6'10 frame, a long wingspan, it's really, really hard to have that no dip shot where you're really just catching and shooting with no hesitation. And he showed that ability, which is just very encouraging going forward. And like I said, the movement off ball, being able to identify movement off ball when he's the main ball handler was really, really impressive. But I loved what I saw from him. But let me know in the comments if you liked to see him kind of come into his own as a facilitator and what you're looking forward to seeing him do throughout the rest of Summer League. He's going to be a guy that we talk about for the rest of the offseason, a potential guy that could fill in as the backup power forward if the Pistons need it. So really impressed with what we saw from him there, and just excited to kind of see what he does going forward. But yeah, let me know what you guys think, what you guys want to see from him, and if you just were impressed overall with his play last night. And then moving on, the last thing I want to talk about before we wrap things up is just the collective effort from everybody else on the team. there was, this summer league team might be the best one out there, especially with Ron Holland on the floor. As Ron Holland, his role probably diminishes. I don't know if he'll play or not. We'll have to see. But if he doesn't, we saw a bunch of guys that can really fill in. The first guy I want to talk about was Dennis Jenkins. He was unbelievable. Like I was so unbelievably impressed with his play last night. He only had one turnover, which I think is the biggest thing because he was the primary ball handler all night. And I genuinely think he outplayed Tyler Kolek. I talked about Tyler Kolek kind of being the only notable player on the Knicks summer league team. He did play significant, or he got significant run with the Knicks last year. Was on the roster for a lot of the time. Played some garbage minutes here and there, and really showed out. He's a very smart player. We talked about his high basketball IQ. Great passer, one of the best passers in the summer league, if not the best. So he's a very talented player, but Dennis Jenkins looked just as good, if not better overall. Jenkins was 7-11 from the field. 3 of 5 from three, 3 rebounds, 3 assists, 1 steal, 2 blocks, plus 19. Ended with 18 points. Only played 22 minutes as well because they wanted to give Zakai Ziegler some run, who I'll talk about in a second because he was also unbelievable. But yeah, Dennis just looked awesome. I talked about it. Tyler Kolek ended with 5 turnovers. Dennis Jenkins had 1. He made Ron Holland look better. He made Bobby Clintman look better. Everything he did on the floor, just he looked like a seasoned veteran. And it's still just his second year. He's the same draft class as Bobby Clintman and Ron Holland. So it was very, very fun to watch him operate out there. He showed some improvement from last year's summer league. We saw in the G League that he was a great scorer, but was it going to be able to translate to the summer league and potentially, if he were to get run with the 15-man roster, if that was going to work out? And I think last night we got our answer that he could potentially be a guy who, if there's any injuries, could fill in on this Pistons roster. He looked incredible, took care of the ball, has a tight handle, played good defense, and just overall was very, very impressive. But moving on, another guy that I also thought played an incredible game was Tolu Smith. 16 points, 11 rebounds. Struggled with some foul trouble, 5 fouls, which in the summer league you get 10 fouls, so you hack away. I don't really care. Foul as much as you possibly can. But I compared him to Andre Drummond a couple days ago, and I think that came to fruition. I think we saw that that's exactly the type of archetype he has. Just a high energy, high motor guy that's going to get you rebounds. He's going to rebound the ball well on the offensive boards. He had 6 offensive rebounds. He's going to get putbacks. He's going to be a guy that sits in the dunker spot. And if somebody drives and there's a collapse by help side defense, he's going to be ready. He's going to be showing hands. And we saw that all night. He had so many layups at the doorstep just off of like a Ron Holland drive or Dennis Jenkins or Bobby Clintman. So just playing his role exactly how he's supposed to, being a guy where you can rely on him to be there when you make a drive and the defense does collapse on you. So just shout out to Tolu Smith. I think that last year in the G League that we saw some improvement and we saw some growth, and he was able to show it off in Summer League last night. So I think he's going to continue to be a consistent piece of this Summer League team, and I wouldn't be surprised if we saw a game where he gets close to 20-20 because he is just an unbelievable rebounder. He's so infectious on the offensive glass. And just the motor's there, the energy's there. He's still young, so excited to see what he brings to the table. And I think that he can be a guy that really shows out in the G League this year. I mentioned it last year. He averaged 17 points and almost 14 rebounds a game in the G League. So he's used to this. This is nothing new to him, and he continued to show out last night. So good for him. Love to see that. And then moving on, last player I wanted to talk about before we end things here is Zakai Ziegler. Off the bench, he was really, really solid. 18 minutes, 2 of 2 from 3, 2 of 4 from the field, 8 points, 1 steal, 1 assist, 1 rebound. Did turn the ball over 3 times, which we'll hopefully see him kind of work on that throughout the rest of Summer League. But I just really like he gave high energy off the bench. In college, he was just a guy that was pesky on defense, could turn defense into offense. Could just be a good facilitator, a good leader, a good playmaker, and that's exactly what he was for the Pistons yesterday. There was a play where he got a 3 and he turned around, was right on the 3-point line, let it go, no hesitation, knocked it down. He struggled a little bit with his jumper in college, but it looked very, very repeatable, very comfortable for him last night. So I just think Zakai Ziegler is another guy who's going to be a very solid piece of the G League team. He, proven veteran in college, played with Chaz Lanier as well over at Tennessee. So I think that he's just another guy to look out for the rest of this summer league. I'm going to continue to play significant minutes and just show he's just got that dog in him. He's just got grit. I love what he brings to the floors. An undersized guy, but plays with so much heart, so much effort. He could find himself, earning a two-way contract potentially in this league. So shout out Zakai Ziegler. Really excited to kind of see how he molds his game throughout the rest of the summer league and, tries to find a spot as an NBA player. But that's all I've got for you guys today. Let me know in the comments or over on Twitter your thoughts on the Pistons' first Summer League game, who you thought improved their stock overall, and just what you'd like to see from guys like Bobby Clintman and Chaz Lanier moving forward. But as always, like, subscribe, comment, turn on post notifications, and follow me on Twitter at Kyle Garrison2. Also, head over to Spotify, leave a review, leave a follow if you can. That would be greatly appreciated. But once again, thank you all so much for tuning in every single day. I hope you enjoyed the Ron Holland masterclass last night because that was unbelievable to watch, and he really did exceed expectations. So let me know your thoughts on that. But with that being said, that is going to do it here for episode 21 of Pistons Daily, and I will catch you all next time.